another silo has entered the chat. Welcome to Shelf Indulgence, where stories come alive in conversation. I'm Remy, your host and first-time reader, turning the pages alongside each guest as they revisit a book that has left its mark on them. Together, we linger over passages, chase down themes, and wander through the margins of a story worth revisiting. Whether you're turning the pages for the first time with me or revisiting a favorite alongside my guest, I'm glad you've joined us on this journey. Hello and welcome back, folks. We are still in the midst of the discussion about The Stranded, chapters 53 through 63. This is the second half of that conversation. If you missed the first half, I do recommend you jump back into episode 10 for full context. Otherwise, enjoy. So this is the part where she's talking about the diggers. So a machine submerged under fresh water might be preserved as long as air didn't get to it. But as soon as any of it was exposed by the pumps, the corrosion would begin. So they're talking about how two people wouldn't be able to stop that corrosion. So I'm not sure what her plan is here as far as fixing the pump and exposing them quicker. It doesn't seem like that would be a useful solution to the current problem. Yes, it would take 2 years, but if the goal is to save the diggers, like two people at that speed, like a step over 2 weeks, you could probably take care of that, right?
Yeah.
But if you're exposing it quicker, it's going to be all exposed and two people are not going to be able to take care of that. So I'm not entirely sure what her goal is as far as exposing those things, because if you expose them too quickly, then two people aren't going to be able to take care of that. At the speed it's going, they might be able to, 2 weeks for a step. Yeah, you can dry that off before corrosion happens. But I don't know what the ultimate goal is here beyond just getting rid of the water.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, like she's comments specifically on what condition the generator or the diggers might be in, and we don't really know what her goal is. But I think you were right, like earlier when you were guessing, like she's probably going for the diggers, because why else would she be trying to get down there? Like because she's trying to get home, right? So she's got two ways of getting home. One, she goes back outside and hopes they let her in, or she digs her way over.
Yeah, which digging their way over, obviously Mechanical would be happy to see her and they'd all file into Silo 17 and make themselves a new home.
Yeah, right. New home over in Silo 17. Yeah.
And then Solo dips down and drinks from this water, which is
so gross. Like, why would he do that?
Because he's a child.
Know the condition of this water. Like, how has he survived all this time?
That's my curiosity. Like, how in the hell?
Yeah, how did he not die of some sort of infection or bacteria or whatever?
Yeah. Then we find out that Jules has been plugging in to talk to Silo 17. A call, not a call. You spend all your time on that stupid thing. So that's all we get from there. We don't know what she's doing, if she's just trying to call to give Bernard hell or whatever the case. But we find out later that her and Lucas are actually just having conversations, which is fucking awesome. Although,
wait.
Yep.
That means Hugh is building up a relationship between two people.
I know. I've been concerned about Lucas since day one. Remember?
Oh man, not Lucas.
But I do want to know again. Okay, so this is another thing that the 3-week gap just kind of glazed over. How did that first contact happen? Like,
yeah, I would have liked to have seen that.
See that, because that would have been fun as hell. Like, what are you doing in IT? What are you doing alive?
Like obviously Lucas is a smart man, so he would have figured out when Bernard was freaking out about the call from Jules that was probably Jules. He probably didn't know right away. Maybe like after a couple of times of her calling, pieced it together. Because, we see him talking to her later about how every time she calls, it like pisses off Bernard. And she's like, good.
Good. I'm glad to hear it.
Yeah.
Then rolling on to chapter 57 is a Lucas chapter. Looks like he is studying old battles against Bernard's wishes. Mind you.
Yeah. I mean, Bernard wants him to read this stuff at some point, just not right now.
Right. He wants him to memorize the order and the, what is the other one?
The pact. Well, the pact and the order.
The pact and the order. That's what it is. Yeah.
But it's the order that he's focused on, because the pact is just like, the quarter of it, and it's what he probably already knows.
Right. So we get a new description of Bernard as having a protruding belly, not even close to what I imagined. I imagined him to be a scrawny little.
Oh, really? Because I'm pretty sure earlier in the book they described him as plump, because the reason I remember that is because Tim Robbins is not. And so in my mind, I like latched on to that difference.
Okay.
So I think they did. And this also goes back to what I was talking about, how like when I read books, I don't necessarily have a tangible image of a character unless they specifically say it while I'm reading. So like for you didn't have the tangible idea that he was plump, even though they said it, because it just like drifted in and out of your head, I'm sure.
Sure.
Now they said it, you're like, oh, boom, changes your visual. And so like for me, it was like, oh, because I'm picturing Tim Robbins, I read it and I'm like, oh, that's different. And it stuck in my head.
Very different. So Lucas is talking to him and he's asking about the resistance, which I thought was an interesting choice of words. This is before we know he's talking to Jules. So my note was, quote unquote, the resistance. Interesting choice of words there, Lucas. Sympathetic much?
I hadn't picked up on that. That's interesting.
Yeah, resistance is very much the word that is used by the resistance. Much nastier words are typically used by the people on the other side.
Yeah, right.
Uprisings, unrest, and things of that nature, but never the resistance, because that admits that they're resisting something.
Yeah. Before we get to him talking to Jules, when he's talking to Bernard, I thought it was really interesting that Bernard was like, I'm spoiling you today, and gave him pork ribs. And Lucas is like, wow, I thought we had rations until the resistance was over. Oh, he actually says resistance not to Jules, but to Bernard.
Yeah.
So that's even more interesting that he uses that word.
I thought so. Yeah.
Yeah. And I see what you're saying now, because we learned that he has been talking to Jules. I misunderstood what you said just there.
We hadn't learned yet.
Like,
no, totally makes sense.
I thought you were saying like we learned that he said that to Jules, and I'm like, well, that doesn't make any sense. But yeah. So he was talking to Jules already, so we know that, and now he's using the language that he's probably using with her. Well, yeah. We learn later that he's been talking to Jules, and so when he says resistance to Bernard, it sounds like maybe that language that he's getting from Jules is slipping out, because Bernard wouldn't call it a resistance.
No, not at all. No, he would use much nastier words.
Bernard doesn't pick up on that here, though, at least not,
he does not.
To us. So that's really interesting.
Yeah.
Especially since later on when he's talking to him, Bernard definitely picks up on the word choices that he has. And it's like a very specific thing. Interesting.
Yeah, it's an interesting dynamic. But this is also where we kind of get the idea that the other silos are powering the hidey hole. And this could be why they're drawing so much power. And Bernard is kind of just content with himself, just saying, hey, it's all going by the book. He doesn't have any thoughts of his own, really, is what we're learning. So it's all driven by that damn book.
I'm not sure I agree with the no thoughts of his own thing.
Really? Please.
I think Bernard is a very smart man who really thinks about these things. He has memorized the order to the point that he knows what page certain things are on.
Sure.
And he definitely wants to go by the book, but I don't think that means he doesn't have any thoughts of his own. I think he's just like, he believes fully in the idea that it is up to him to be the one that preserves this silo. Like he's bought into that 100%. And so for him, the ends justify the means. Am I getting that right?
When you're
the means justify the ends. I think I said it backwards. The means justify the end.
Right.
And for him, it's like, this is all fine. This is why we do it. This is important for me to think this way. And I don't think it's necessarily that he doesn't think for himself, because I think he's a smart man. Like he understands the complications and the way that the order, like when we learn later what Lucas is reading in the order, like when talking about how the connection to the experiment that he reads about, and I think the next chapter he's in or something like that, and talking about how, the way, the psychology behind getting people who are basically the same to treat each other as different, which to me echoed the Stanford prison experiment. And this talked about like it was something else, but maybe that was the Stanford prison experiment and I just misunderstood what it was, because it said like summer camp or day camp or some shit like that. I'm like, what? But like, I think understanding the psychology of how that stuff works is what Bernard is good at. So he thinks through that stuff. Which is why I think I disagree that he doesn't have a thought in his head. But I kind of understand what you're saying in the sense that he is bought into it all and agrees with it, and he's not veering into a different way of thinking.
Yeah, then that's more my thought. So not that he's not intelligent, because he obviously is to be in the position he's in. He has to understand and be able to manage and yada, yada, et cetera, et cetera. But, well, okay, so let's take it back to religion. Somebody buys into the Bible fully. If everything they spout, everything they say comes from that book, they're no longer thinking for themselves, period.
Yeah, if you're not questioning it.
Yeah, if their entire thought process is based around what is written in this text, then they've lost the ability, not necessarily lost the ability, but lost the willpower or something. I don't know, but they just don't think for themselves nearly as much as someone that would agency. There you go. That's a beautiful word for it. Someone that would otherwise take a situation and critically think about it, not just say, what does the book say? So it's not a matter of not being able to think for himself, but I stand by that man has no thought on his own because it's all coming from the book. Everything is going to plan because he's following the book to the T.
Yeah, I understand what you're saying. And I agree with you to a point, but I think maybe he does think critically about things, but his worldview is such that he doesn't need to. You know, like I think it's a subtle difference, but I think it's just like he doesn't have to think as critically about this because he agrees with it.
The critical thinking has already been done for him.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. I'm there's another thing in the conversation that we might get to that might bring another thought I have on this, but
okay.
But for now, I think I kind of I'll settle on I partially agree.
Good enough. All right. Then we find out that Lucas's father was a drunk.
I didn't pick up on that.
Yeah. He, let's see, moments of
I think
rye
I did
stench.
While I was reading it, but it like didn't stick in my head.
Yeah. Moments of rye stench, quiet from his youth. Let's see. Made him rational, living with his father again, back before the tub gin finally bored him a hole beneath the potatoes.
And how it like helps him like figure out how to deal with Bernard too, because he's having like the flashbacks, or not necessarily flashbacks, but like sees the similarities in the way he has to interact with Bernard.
Right. So interesting little character detail. I also think it's something I didn't think about, but it definitely comes up in this, is he's having a really hard time eating the potatoes, knowing that they are fed by his father's body.
Oh, is that what the reasoning was?
Yeah.
I thought it was just because he wasn't hungry, but he was like making it look like he ate all the food for Bernard's sake, and it was just like, I don't want to eat these. I'm just eating them because like I'm supposed to. And once Bernard was gone, he's like, fuck that. No, that makes a lot more sense.
Yeah, I mean that would be difficult, especially if you loved the person that was buried there. It's like, God, do I really want to eat these? Like they're literally eating my loved one. Yeah, that would be difficult. That would be a hard hurdle to jump over.
But also, wouldn't they be used to that? Because that's where everybody gets buried.
Yes. I think eating potatoes from the up top would be fine because your dad is not feeding it. Specifically, you don't know who is, but you know somebody is, but it's not your dad. It's not someone you cared about, someone that you had dealt with. Yeah, I think I'd be in the same bout. I would probably want to eat potatoes from a different section of the silo. So kind of strange. But moving back into the text here, we've got Bernard sees that the call is coming from 17, and he asks that Lucas create a board so he can see which silo is calling, which blows my mind that that's not a thing already. Like why wouldn't you have a light going over 17 if it was them?
Well, I think it was for him. It was like you look at the board and you can see the thing that's flashing, but you have to like get in there and look. And this is just hey, let's make it red if it's 17 and green if it's anyone else. I get that. Like that's probably why would that already be built? Like this is like, you don't need to know who's calling until you get to it. But in this case, it's like, I don't want to fucking answer if it's 17.
Yeah, that's fair. I did write on this page, I assume that Lucas does not know who's calling, but obviously I was very wrong because later we find out, actually at the end of this chapter, we find out that he knows exactly who he's talking to or who's calling.
You know, I agree with you. Like I wish we got to see the conversation of Lucas and Juliette. Like, oh my God, you're alive. Holy shit, what are you doing there? Like their mutual surprise at hearing each other's voice would have been delightful to read.
Yes, it really would have. And I wish that we had seen it, but maybe he wrote it and it just sounded too janky. Maybe there was no good, clean way to, I don't know. I
think that's the only thing I'm missing from the 3-week gap is that connection.
I would like to know what happened to Supply though, and the dogs in Supply, which by the way, it does come up in this. Jules mentions the dogs in supply.
The dogs of supply, yeah. I wonder if
Are they
supply
the
is
only
the
ones
only
with
place that
the
does.
dogs?
I doubt it. I have a feeling other people probably have dogs, but they probably like breed them.
Oh, yeah. Supply the supply the silo with dogs.
Supply the silo with the dogs. Maybe like if there's supply, maybe they get maybe all dogs come from supply.
Yeah, maybe.
That's just where you get everything from is supply. You have kennels in the back or something like that. I don't
go
know.
to supply. Make sure you get from the good stock. You don't want a dog that's going to fall apart.
A dog engineered to fail. Aww.
Oh, but anyway, on the next page, it's after 8. Bernard said he adjusted his overalls. Oh, I spoke with your mother today. Dude, she is so going to spill the beans on Lucas's affinity. It's mentioned twice that Bernard has talked to his mom.
Mm-hmm.
She is the only person that knows how much Lucas liked Jules.
Oh, yeah. Because he told his mom. Interesting.
I feel like that is just...
Bernard might know already.
He might.
Huh.
I don't know. It just it occurred to me as like, oh no.
Because that means Lucas could be in danger.
Yeah.
Like right now, like it seems like Bernard really likes Lucas and is trying to protect Lucas. And like to him, Lucas is important. Like he's going to take over IT when he moves on to other things or dies. And like I really believe Bernard cares about Lucas, at least in the prepping him to run the silo, but possibly more than that. But it's also very possible that he has a distaste for Lucas and will be killing him at some point.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think he knows yet because I don't feel like he would divulge all this information. I feel like it's a waste of effort and energy that Bernard's not one to do.
Yeah.
But I feel like eventually that's going to be spilled. There are too many mentions of his mom. And we haven't even met the woman. But I think it's really funny that Bernard's like, don't ever answer that call. And Lucas's response is, why would I want to talk to anyone that makes you nervous? It's like, that's a good response. Maybe he just hasn't answered it.
Great response.
And then we find out that he is talking to first we find out he's locked in there. And then we find out that he's talking to Jules. And it's another one of those instances where all my notes are all calm and then I get all caps, but this is in the good way.
The voice sang in his earphones. Lucas smiled. I like it.
Yeah, so good.
Hey, he said.
Yeah, love it. Then on to chapter 58. Back to Silo 18. We're working with Walk again.
Where we see he is hallucinating.
Yeah, this is where he's hallucinating with Scotty, having a conversation with him, which we kind of already went over.
I really like that Scotty's voice is what told him that. Oh, no, he was explaining the ripples to Scotty. And I enjoyed that Walker has already kind of figured out the way radio waves work, even though he knows nothing about them. Like, how would he know that they're like these ripples? He's just a smart guy.
Yeah, he's just a smart dude. But I love that when he says something, Scotty responds, oh, well, we've always been this deep. It's just his own dialogue. He just puts Scotty's voice to it. And it's tragic and cute and sad and kind of concerning all at the same time.
Yeah.
So then this is when Shirley comes and forces him to eat because she finds that he's been giving his rations away and he's basically skin and bones at this point.
Yeah. And also before that, when Walker and Scotty figure out that the 18 on there must mean something.
Right. Yeah,
Haven't
of course.
quite figured out what yet, though.
Yeah. So Shirley is forcing him to eat, and she's a little spicy, understandably. Her husband just died 3 weeks ago. Yep. She tells him if he doesn't eat all his food, she will murder him. And I also wanted to point out that she's well aware that Walker will not eat his food if it cools. So Walker has better taste than Jules, period.
But it's not soup, is it?
It didn't specify.
Stirred is corn, so definitely not soup.
Yeah, probably not. There's cream corn soup. Yeah, I don't know. Anyway, it made me chuckle. Like it's like there's always a mention, and Jules so far has not eaten a warm meal, not once. Just for those keeping track.
You've been noticing, huh?
Well, I mean, the first one caught me off guard. It's like, oh, Hugh, who eats cold soup?
Yeah, right.
And then it happened again. It's like, okay, Hugh, what are you doing? And now we're talking about warm soup and how it wouldn't be eaten if it's cold. So I feel like there's something here. I feel like Hugh has an inside joke in his head that Jules doesn't care about cold. I don't know what it is, but I think it's really funny.
I look forward to the one moment where like she talks about eating hot soup and you're going to be like, oh, thank God.
Oh, man. But then we get to further confirmation that IT has power coming from the other silos, because he's talking about how they could cut power here, but we know it doesn't affect IT. And then Shirley is turning the knob on the radio to see what Walker's been doing, because he asks, go ahead and turn it. And she hears voices. And these voices are talking about and to people that they do not know. And my note here, big cap letters, was, oh shit, another silo has entered the chat.
That's a great way to put it. Because we know it's not 17 because there's only 2 people in 17 and they would have recognized at least one of the 2 voices talking.
Right. Who's this Roberts fool? Deputy Roberts.
Do we know if we know that when Jules is getting ready to go into the water, they're using the walkie-talkies, but do we know if they've used the radios before then?
I don't believe so. Not that we've heard.
Yeah, I guess they haven't really needed to communicate long distances yet. They've probably just been together.
I'm kind of curious to find out. So there are a couple things happening. Actually, we're going into the chapter where Juliette looks Eliza's suit. Oh no, she's in the suit lab. But when she's going into the water, I had a few thoughts here. Number one, what you just said. Will she hear from Walker or Shirley while she's underwater? Weird. Number two, what if Mechanical decides to cut the power while she's underwater? We are assuming or know that the power is coming from the power that she is tapping into is coming from other silos.
I don't like you keep saying coming from other silos. I think it's an unknown source, not another silo. Because why would they be powering each other's IT? Like, that doesn't really make any sense. Because if one silo goes dead and like the generators stop, that means another silo's IT dies. And that wouldn't make any sense for seeds.
Not a single direct line.
They need to sandbox these silos as much as possible if they are seeds to bring the world back. And so you can't have one silo affecting another. I think that there is a central source of power that feeds all of the ITs that has nothing to do with the other silos. Like maybe silo 1.
See, I disagree. See, if that single source of power goes down, then all of them are fucked. This way, what I'm assuming is that each like 17 is being fed by 18, 19, 20, 21, and 22, for example. So if one of them goes down, no problem. We've still got 4 others. I imagine there are redundancies.
So you think it's more like a raid array where like, all of the silos are feeding the power for all of IT. And if one silo goes down completely, all the others still get their power from the other silos.
That's my assumption, yes.
Okay. So yeah. So like if Mechanical in silo 18 shuts down all power,
she may have an issue for a moment.
Well, no, because I don't even think that would happen, because I think what would it be like, it would be like a raid array where like you said, like, silos 15, 16, 17, 18, and 19 are all feeding each other's power or something like that. I think it would be more of all 50 silos are feeding power to all 50 ITs.
See, that would make more sense too. Yeah.
Yeah, like all of the silos are going into the central power to feed all of the ITs. So if one of the silos goes down, all ITs still get full power because it's a small percentage of the power that they are getting.
Yeah. Okay, I could buy that.
And you could lose probably like half of them before you'd have any, like major issues with power. But even then, they probably have it set up to where, like, they just get more power from the other silos, and it would really only be an issue if you get down to the last silo and then they cut power. Well, then finally you've lost all your power.
Well, at that point, I mean, the experiment has failed.
Right? Yeah, right. So like, it doesn't fucking matter at that point. Like, whatever. But yeah, I think that's probably more likely what's going on, is that like it's distributed power from all the silos.
Yeah,
so
I
I
could
think
buy
if like
that.
a mechanical shuts it down, I don't think it would fuck up Jules at all. I don't even think she'd see a dip because I think like the system that is providing that power would automatically
Kick
pull
in
more
and-
power from
yeah,
the silos
yeah,
that
yeah.
are still giving power.
Yeah, you're right. That makes more sense.
Could also be a battery bank. All of the IT could be pulling from a battery that is constantly being charged by the different silos. So like, you know, a whole bunch of them, right? And probably the idea is like the batteries are charging and then the silos are all feeding into the batteries. So when anything happens, IT never loses power, like a,
Yeah.
you know, a UPS system, universal power supply or something
Right.
that.
Yeah, no, that makes sense.
But back to this chapter. So with them hearing the voices, my first thought was, oh shit, are they going to hear Solo and Jules talking? Like, when's that going to happen?
Yeah, I'm curious to know as well. Okay, and that's kind of what I'm thinking. Like they're going to hear from them while Jules is underwater, or I don't know. I'm looking forward to the coming chapters.
So far they haven't tried broadcasting. They're just trying to listen.
Yeah, that's very true. Oh, maybe they'll hear Jules talking to Solo underwater.
That's what I mean. Yeah, like as she's going into the water, hear her like be like, "Holy shit, that's Jules!" Like right now, their entire world just got upended when they realized, at least Walk and Shirley did, when they realized that there's other silos.
Yeah,
and like before they have a chance to really like understand what's going on, a fucking explosion, and they have to run.
Yeah. Would she say 11 silos?
No, like he was saying probably 11 silos, and then she points out the 18 and says at least that many.
Oh, yeah.
And
okay,
that's
there you go.
When Walker was like, I'm surprised Walker hadn't picked up on that yet, but he's probably too worried about everything else. He just hadn't like gotten there. He would have, but he just hadn't yet. And then like when she points it out, he's just like, oh shit, yeah, there's at least 18. That's fucking crazy.
Yeah. I love that her mind is blown while he's trying to figure out the electronics of it. He's like, oh yeah, cool. Other people. Got it. But why is this doing this? I really appreciate Walk for who he is.
Yeah.
But jumping over to chapter 59, Silo 17. She has taken up residence in the suit lab, which I think is really creepy.
I just realized that the explosion I just mentioned wasn't in this chapter. I got ahead of us a little bit there, but that's okay.
Oh, no, you're absolutely right. Okay, so what I was talking about was also not in this chapter.
Okay, anyway.
Moving on to chapter 59, Silo 17. She's talking about the constant power source and not knowing where it came from made her nervous. So that's why she wants to go take care of the generator.
Yeah, and I can see with that commentary of her being nervous about the constant power source would make you think that, oh, if 18 does something that it could affect her power. I could totally see that being a foreshadow. I just don't think they would have set it up that way.
Yeah, it seems unlikely, but at the same time, there's always that possibility. I don't know. So, I'm thinking of all the potential fail breaks, which is exactly what she does in all this preparation. But she does mention that she has built up porter legs, which I thought was a really fun little saying.
Yeah. I thought about you actually when I read that. I because of your comment about how they'd probably all be super fit and stuff like that. And of course I know you and I know you're incredibly fit. So like I just for some reason like the porter legs just made me think of Remy. I don't know.
Yeah, man. If I lived in this world, I'd 100% be a porter. I'd be running up and down those stairs all damn day.
Yeah. Honestly, I think that'd be great for ADHD because it's like something new and exciting and also helps, manage symptoms.
Yeah.
Remy,
I'd imagine
one second. Mabel just asked to go outside and I need to see if she has to go potty.
Okay.
So running up and down the stairs just now actually reminded me of something that I've been thinking about pretty much daily since we had the conversation about how slow Jan's was going up and down the stairs.
2 hours for 20 levels.
Yeah. So we talked about this on the podcast. We kind of like, talked about like the age thing and whatever. And then my plantar fasciitis kicked in and I take so much time getting down my one flight of stairs every morning now. And I'm not even 45 yet. And I'm like, okay, I think I can get it. I get it.
All right. Fair enough. Oh, that's funny. Dude, that
one
is the
flight
worst.
of stairs takes me like not literally 5 minutes, but like it feels like it. I go
Man, I've
one
got that in
step
my
at
right
a time.
foot and it sucks. I'm sorry you have it as well.
It does.
Yeah.
It does. I've got like a heel spur and it irritates the plantar fascia and it's bad. Like I'm on a walk with Mabel and like I'm fine. And suddenly it hurts and I'm like, I'm at the farthest point of my walk. How am I getting home? I can't walk right now. This is terrible. And I talked to my doctor about it. I'm like, hey, what can I do? And she's like, telling me all the preventative stuff. I'm like, you mean I can't like get a surgery to get rid of the heel spur? It's not a thing. I've got to live with this for the rest of my fucking life.
Yeah.
Anyway, back to the book.
Yeah, jumping back in. So Jules has taken up residence in the suit lab, which is creepy. She's talking about how all these suits are lined up on the wall and they could be full, hiding people faces hiding behind the mask. Like, what the fuck are you doing, Jules? Why there? I get it, because that's where all the tools are and that's where she feels more comfortable and more. I understand her reasoning, but at the same time, creepy. Like, those things are like, literally made to kill people.
Quite literally in here says it was like living and working in a room full of ghostly apparitions. Yeah. Yet she also says this is the only place that she felt comfortable sleeping.
Wild.
What?
Oh man. But yeah, so she's talking about how they had evil intent. Now that she understood their evil intent, she didn't mind them so much, which is just a wild thing to say. Mm-hmm. Moving on, she's talking about the interior of the silo and how the entire place is haunted and marred. And there's a reason that Solo has been blocking the server door with a filing cabinet every night. Really leads you to believe that there might be someone else in there.
Yeah.
She's mentioning how it feels like she's being watched, if not by actual people, but the silo itself. And that actually kind of made me think, are there cameras in the silo? I don't think that there are, and that surprises me. I feel like there would be more surveillance inside the silo.
That's a good question. I've actually thought about that a lot while reading, because that's actually a plot point in the show. And while I was reading, I kept wondering, like, is that something that they created for the show, or is that something I missed in the book? But it hasn't been talked about as far as I haven't seen any surveillance. Noticed, so I don't know.
It's interesting. Yeah, so there's a good possibility that there's someone else in the silo, which is kind of creepy, but not wholly unexpected.
Yeah, I mean, it's huge, right? There's a lot of floors. Yeah. There's a lot of space in those floors.
Absolutely.
And with only two people, like, or hell, when it was just Solo with only one person, there's no way to be sure you're in the same place as somebody else if there's anybody else in there.
100% agree, yeah. But then she's getting these suits ready to do her water walk.
Yeah, we don't know it yet, but like we reveal in the next Jules chapter that's definitely what she was doing. Like when she was drilling the hole through like whatever it was, I wasn't quite following what she was doing, and then later it was like, oh yeah, it's for air.
Oh, that's what that's for, right? Yeah, exactly. And it turns out she taught Solo how to bake bread, and that was such all a cute. He does.
This was actually where I commented on the ADHD again. So specifically, it was ever since she taught Solo how to bake bread, she couldn't get him to stop. And my only note was ADHD ...
Yup.
Learn a new skill, you do it constantly until you've perfected it, or until it gets boring.
Yep. Or until you realize you can't perfect it quickly.
Yeah, that's another one. Like, nope, I'm not going to ever be able to figure this one out. I'm moving on to the next one.
Right. So then we find out that she is indeed trying to breathe underwater, and she's talking about the whole journey and what that potentially looks like, and whether or not the pumps will still work because they've been submerged so long. And she says they're designed to be submerged. That's what they're meant to do, and they're simple, so they should be fixable. Great. Love that. Solo's over here saying that he's not worried, but apparently he has not mastered the art of lying, which I thought was a really cute little character trait between the bread and the lying. I'm really loving Solo. He's so much fun. Then we bounce back over to Silo 18 in chapter 60. And I think we've got three more chapters that we're going through. Yeah. We've talked about a lot of this already, so it should go pretty quickly. But Lucas is here reading about battles again, and he realizes that he stinks. And this is where I was talking about earlier, him not being able to keep track of time. So he doesn't seem to have a reliable source of time. So there's no screen, which we assumed there was. There's no timepiece. It's very strange. It feels like of all the places to be able to keep track of time, this should be the place, right?
Yeah. Like, I feel like there'd be something in there to keep track of the passing of time, but
yeah,
no, I guess not.
It's wild to me that wouldn't be the case, but so it is. And he's talking about learning humanity, and I thought a lot of these were really interesting. The books of history out of order, the billions of people, even more stars, stories of violence, the madness of crowds, the staggering timeline of life, of orbiting suns that would one day burn out, of weapons that could end it all, and diseases that nearly had. Wondering if that's why they're down here.
Yeah.
Because that last bit of diseases that nearly had felt very purposeful. Like there was a reason that was the last one. But then this is the point where Peter shows up, and I wrote down, I wonder how far Peter can get into this room. And then at the bottom of the page, it actually says so. So he's not allowed to get very far in. He brings his dinner, and we talked about this earlier. This is where Peter's kind of a dick. There's a point in here where it says Peter smiles. There's our little protege. Peter smiled, but his eyes narrowed at the sight of Lucas. Lucas's chin dipped. Sheriff, he said, he always had this sense that Peter was silently mocking him. Like, silently? Dude, no, he's not silently mocking you. He's straight up mocking you.
Yeah.
But apparently he and Bernard have a conversation that, they're going to have to work together. Law and IT, that is going to have to be a symbiotic relationship. And so Lucas is trying to be cordial, but Peter's being kind of a dick throughout this entire conversation. Yeah. This is where he says, my apartment practically in the up top, all the mids are, he laughed, to those who live there. So yeah, it's the class system. It's like, I'm the people that are middle class, like, I'm better, I'm upper class. No, you're still there.
Yeah.
It's very poignant.
Absolutely. Really quick before we keep going, there was something I wanted to comment on right before Peter shows up. So you were talking about like the stories of violence, the madness of crowds, and all that stuff. A little bit after that, I really enjoyed this section when, like, after he's kind of taking all of this in, how when he considered the scale of it all, the idea of this life burrowed beneath the earth, sending people to clean, getting worked up over who stole what from whom, he sometimes felt a sort of mental vertigo, this frightening terror of standing over some abyss, seeing a dark truth far below, but unable to make it out before his senses returned and the reality snatched him back from the edge. And this is something that I kind of felt during the pandemic, when we're all at home and people are dying in the hundreds of thousands, when it hit, like, I think 1 million or 2 million people dead from the coronavirus. And we're all just sitting there waiting for something to happen so we can resume our lives.
Baking bread.
Going back to
Solo.
That being a big thing people did was making sourdough bread. But I had this same sort of feeling, like the scale of it all, and the idea that, like, none of it matters. Nothing fucking matters. Like, we've got this, we care so much about, like he was saying, who, getting worked up over who stole what from whom. And I think about that frequently, especially since the pandemic, about how people get so angry over stupid shit. And petty. Like we care so much about, like, oh, they gave me the side eye or whatever. And like, I used to kind of care about that sort of stuff. I used to get pretty worked up over it. But after the pandemic, I think I kind of became a nihilist where, like, I know nothing matters. We're all going to die. Yeah. And so, like, why does any of this little shit, why does it matter? It doesn't. None of it matters. And I kind of got into this thought process. I learned this in, like, one of the mindfulness things that I was doing, learning about mindfulness and stuff. Maybe it was like one of the Buddhist podcasts I listened to. A shout out to Secular Buddhism for anybody who doesn't know. Great podcast. I heard, like, the way to kind of, like, think through when something that might be making you angry or upsetting or is in some way not the way you want it to go. Think, like, will this matter in 5 years? Or will this matter on my deathbed? And if the answer is no, then why let it bother?
Let it go.
And I've kind of tried to adopt that way of thinking. And And like this paragraph exactly really made me feel that so strongly. Like when he's having this moment of there's so much more than our pettiness and that bigness of it. I thought it was just really a really interesting process for him to be going through here. And I think that's something that a lot of people would go through if you're living in a silo and think that there's nothing else but this silo. And then you learn that there's this world out there that you had no idea even existed. Other people beyond the walls, like with Walker kind of realizing that there's like people out there that we didn't know about that we've been living next to for hundreds of years. And I love that concept, and it really just like makes my mind blossom and think like what that feels like. And I don't know. I don't really have a point of all this. It was just something I wanted to touch on and talk about because I felt it, you know?
Yeah, I completely agree. And I think it's also part of aging.
Yeah.
As you get older, you realize that the petty shit does not matter. I mean, I certainly don't care anywhere near as much about the little things that I used to.
Same.
It's not worth it. And to those younger listeners, just let it go.
Right.
It's not the end of the world. I promise. You're good. Carry on.
Nothing fucking matters. Nothing matters. The only thing that matters is being kind to one another.
That's right.
Because we're all going to die, but at least we can all try to be as nice to one another as we can in the meantime.
Yep. You got one shot at this. Make it count for everybody.
Yep. Optimistic nihilism is the way I like to think about the world.
Oh, I like that. Optimistic nihilism. Yeah, I like that. That's good.
Not my phrase, but I love it.
No, I'm good with it. But jumping back into the book, I do want to point out
to Billings
that Lucas takes a sip of hot soup. Just saying.
It's pointed out.
Yep.
It's literally pointed out that it is hot soup.
Literally pointed out that it is hot soup.
Not just took a sip of soup, but hot soup.
No,
I think you're right. I think he was trolling
There's
us.
Something
I think
to it.
like he's very specifically setting it up that Jules never eats hot soup.
It's hilarious to me. I'm getting an absolute
Everybody
kick out of
does.
it. Yeah. Then we find out that Sims is planning to blast the wall, and yet another mention that Luke's mom has been spoken to. He did say something about bringing your mother up for a visit. Peter says that. So, I just feel like it's going to come out. I can't see it not coming out. That they have feelings for each other. It might. Right?
Yeah.
But I thought it was really, really cute on page 416 when he first reaches out to her to speak with Jules. Her voice filled him up in a way mere food couldn't. I thought that was really sweet. It's like,
that is really nice.
I know that feeling, and that is
I do too.
Good for him. I'm happy for him. I'm concerned for him, but I'm happy for him.
It makes me concerned.
And then in that next paragraph,
can you imagine Bernard's like anger, his like
blow his top,
his venom if he found out? Yeah.
Oh, I can't wait. But in that second paragraph, Bernard has officially reached Voldemort status, with him being referred to as you know who.
Yeah.
And this next page kills me. They're just chatting casually, and she said, if he's there all the time, you could just do me a favor and kill him for me. And his response is, kill him? What do you mean? Bludgeon him to death? It's just like, do you really want pointers? Because I've dreamt up a few.
Yeah. I also really enjoyed that it kind of led to their differences in viewpoints and how it led to this uncomfortable, difficult part of the conversation, and how he's just like, I wish we just talk about nothing. Yeah. Like he doesn't want to have these hard conversations.
Well, nobody does.
Yeah.
But, I'm with her. I mean, it's like she is living with the enemy, or he is living with the enemy that tried to kill her. Like, you care about me, do something about it.
Yeah. Like when she says, Lucas, you know that I'm on the right side here, don't you?
Yeah. We're one of the good guys.
You're working for an insane man.
Yeah.
And he just kind of like, he couldn't answer. Like, he's like, everything's crazy. And it's because he's getting brainwashed by Bernard, as well as like he thinks for himself. We know this is a guy who can imagine amazing things. Like, he was the one plotting the stars. He's the one who like is curious about things. So he thinks things through. But I imagine it's got to be hard when you're being isolated You're being, told all these things. You don't really fully know what's going on. It'd be really hard to be like, hey, I'm working with the bad guys, especially knowing what he did, which we find he still hasn't told Jules, and like he's ashamed of, rightfully so, for killing Shirley and in turn making her drop the bomb and killing Knox and others.
Not Shirley MacLaine.
And he feels really guilty about that. And like, I have a feeling he kind of has to hold on to the idea that Bernard is at least a little bit in the right. Otherwise, he has to grapple with what he did as being such like against what he should be doing. Like, he'd go crazy thinking that he killed the good people,
right.
Like he knows they're good, right? But he's trying so hard not to think about it because it would destroy him, knowing, like fully accepting that what he did was the wrong thing.
Right. Yeah, that's a good point. It's so sad. Lucas is a bit more conflicted than I expected him to be. But yeah, they go back to the we're the good guys thing. Then that's before that. It's like, the good guys is always a matter of perspective.
Absolutely.
But then he lies to get off the phone because he says Peter will be bringing him food soon. So he's just, like you said, he's just dealing with it. He's having a really hard time. He's thinking about the jubilee, the yells and the jubilation of the people next to him when all that went down. Mm-hmm. And he's sitting here with this like, fuck, that was rough. So, not irredeemable, certainly, but I'm a little disappointed. I'm not mad.
I don't know.
I'm disappointed.
I don't know that I'm disappointed in Lucas at this point, though. I think it's just more of like we're watching him struggle with figuring out what's right. And he doesn't not agree with Jules. Mm-hmm. He just doesn't necessarily fully agree, or he's nervous to fully agree. Yeah. I think he's just like, he has reservations.
Yeah.
Because like, well then, like if she's right, then that means all of these people that I've spent my life with are wrong.
Yeah, it's got to be a rough position to be in.
Mm-hmm.
But moving on to chapter 61, back to Silo 18, back to Walk and Shirley. We have contact, like full contact. They're listening to a full conversation. And this is where Shirley is losing her mind and Walker's trying to figure out what's going on with the radio exactly. This is what I was talking about earlier. And then we hit that explosion.
Walker's full on hyper-focused, like, oh my God, I'm not even taking the time to understand what this means because I'm so excited about the discovery.
Yeah. Yeah. So they're talking, what they're hearing, these voices, they're talking about a cleaning. So obviously it's another silo. And that's what Shirley pinpoints. And this Walker's priorities are really just, they kill me. Shirley's freaking out. There are people beyond these walls and they're trying to figure it all out. And then suddenly explosion. So interrupted right in the middle of it. Walker's glasses get busted. He asks Scotty to come out and help him. He's kind of losing it.
Oh, does he actually ask that?
Yeah, he does. Well, does he? Hang on. Let's see. That's page 422. He waved his hand begging Scotty to come out of the shadows to help him. So he didn't actually ask him. He waved his hand begging him to. Okay, so it wasn't verbalized, but it's pretty close.
But it's still like he's like beyond just imagining him and like
he thinks
kind of
he's there.
Thinking he's losing his mind a bit, thinking he's actually there.
Yeah. So not great. So Shirley scoops up all of the radio parts so that they can relocate because what's his name? Jenkins comes in and tells him to get out of there because shit's going down. So we're assuming that Sims blew the wall. Yeah. We don't have full confirmation from that yet.
I mean, that's definitely what happened because we know Sims was going down to do that. Right. And then a giant explosion, pretty sure.
It only makes sense if that's the case. But then we roll on to, that was a really short chapter. We roll back over to Silo 17, where she is putting the suit on and having a really hard time with it mentally because last time she was wearing one of these suits, she was sent out to her death, which, I get it. I would be a little apprehensive to put it on as well. And she is asking for her safety knife is what I've decided to call it because it's the knife that got her out of the helmet when she was suffocating up at the top of 17.
Mm-hmm. I wanted to the end of the Walk chapter really quick. I really enjoyed how he was like, thinking about how I'm never going to leave this room again.
Right.
And then when Shirley's telling him to leave, saying it's now or never, and Walker realized it wasn't going to be never.
Yep.
So he is absolutely leaving, and he didn't want that, but it's forced out. Okay, anyway, continuing.
No, I appreciate that as well, because he's such a recluse. I mean, he had a hard time walking down the hallway. Now he's got to leave his room like to God knows where. But yeah, so she's putting on the suit, and she is having a really rough time with putting it on, because last time she was in this one of these suits, she was going out to die, basically.
Yeah.
Or so she thought. She has modified the suit to make it easier to carry tools, tied the tools to herself, which is very, very clever.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously someone that works in small spaces.
Mm-hmm. Oh, she's probably used to that with all of the stuff she did with the generator. Like, you drop something down into a hole, like you're never getting it back, or you're up really high and you drop it and like, fuck, now I have to go back down to get it.
Yeah. Right.
Mm-hmm.
So she's talking about getting ready for this, and she's got the wires. She created a switch for Solo up top so that she can take the wire dead down and plug it in without, making the water electrified. So yeah, I really appreciate that she is looking at this situation and thinking of every single failure point. This is how I operate in life. Like, I think of all the things that could go wrong, and I try to prepare for them. Does it always work? No, but it does most of the time. And I really appreciate that she's got that mentality of, I don't expect, she plan for the worst, hope for the best. And I appreciate that she's got that mentality, and she's really thinking of all the little things that could very, very easily go wrong. Because these are not made for underwater work.
Yeah.
And she's talking about how the fear of insanity is scarier to her than what she's about to do.
Like, the fear of being there for another 2 years and going crazy is worse than possibly dying underwater in a suit.
Yeah, exactly. So she's talking about how they hooked up the radio on the interior of the helmet so that they can keep contact, so she can use her chin to push the button. And she took the screen out of the helmet, which also very intelligent.
Yeah, I like that she took out everything, so it's just a clear dome, scraped off all the paint and everything.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to see that screen, even if I know it's giving me correct information. I would want true vision.
Yeah, like she even comments on that, how she like now knows that what she sees is real.
Yeah.
Plus, it gives her a lot wider range of vision that way.
Oh, I'd imagine. Yeah, not this 8x12 little screen. Not that that's a tiny screen right in front of your face, but I'd much prefer a window than a screen as well.
Yeah, I don't know. 8 inches probably wouldn't give you much peripheral. You basically see what's in front of you. So like, this gives her all around, which is great.
Yeah, love it. She even prepared extra fuel just in case. I mean, she is thinking of everything. And then we find out that this is the landing that people jump from. This is the suicide jump. So she's going over the railing into the water, basically doing the suicide jump, but with water below it. And that's kind of wild. I really kind of love that.
I enjoyed the minor freak out she had when like, she's like, I don't know if the water is going to stop me from falling. Like, intuitively she knew it should, but like, there was that moment of fear of like, I don't know. Yeah.
I mean, imagine your entire life. You've grown up 34 or 6 years, and your entire life, people have been, I mean, probably not super common, but people throw themselves off of this railing. This is where you go to die. Yeah. And now she's doing it. Yes, there's water. Yeah. But God, can you even wrap your head around what that would feel like?
Yeah. Crazy.
Just, ugh. And then she begins her plummet down. Ugh. Creepy. So not only is she dealing with the underwater thing, which I do have a bit of an issue with, but she's doing with mechanical underwater. What'd you call that? Submechanophobia or something like that?
Yeah, submechanophobia.
Yeah, okay. Ugh, creepy as fuck. I hate it.
It sounds like you've got some submechanophobia.
Oh, I do. I 100% do. I look at pictures on Reddit sometimes, and they're like half sunk ships. I'm like, nah, fuck that. I'm not about that life. I don't want anything to do with it.
I mean, but at least ships like go on water and get sunk. So like, having a sunken ship at least feels like I can kind of understand it there. But like, having a building or something underneath you, man, that just feels so wrong.
Yeah. I completely agree. And it's weird.
Like the stairs underneath you in the water. Oh, that's so
hate
creepy.
It. And those glowing lights. Hate it. Hate everything about it.
Another relationship build-up stuff when she was like getting ready to go into the water and stuff, and she's thinking about Lucas, and she's like, how well did they really even know each other? They'd had 2-3 encounters in person, but then there were dozens of talks since. Could you really know someone just from your voice? And I just really enjoyed that, like, you know, from his intoxicating laughter, like how well it's setting up that, like, you know, kind of those early relationship stages of infatuation, of like you're like just giddy with excitement, and how like we talked about earlier, like the idea of somebody, as they said in the book, the sound of somebody's voice filling you more than food could, like those initial exciting moments. And I thought it was really cute.
Yeah.
But anyway, yes. Then all the water stuff does come after that, and the weights and all that. So yeah, Lucas sitting in the desk.
Yeah. So he's sitting on this chair that's made of wood, and he's marveling at the cost of the wood, and he's so much so that he's not actually sitting on it. I think it's hilarious. So he's kind of straddling this chair because it's worth more than he can even fathom, because wood, I mean, we talked about this in a previous episode. Yeah, there are no trees. So yeah, wood would be extraordinarily valuable.
Rare.
Yeah. So we find out that Bernard is still overseeing the battle from the hidey hole.
Oh, that explains why earlier in the book, the little wooden box that had the ring in it was such a big deal, because it was wood.
Oh yeah, I thought we talked about that.
We probably talked about it, and I just didn't even like connect it. But like just now, it connected in my head. Like, so like when Sims saw it later, it's like, oh, can I keep this? It was like,
that's why he was so excited about it. But that's also what got him like kind of ousted from Bernard's good graces.
Yeah.
But yeah, Bernard is overseeing the battle from the hidey hole, and we're also finding that there are chapters of the book that Lucas is supposed to be reading that are. Let me just read this. He said the stuff that was even more frightening were chapters on persuasion, on mind control, and on the effects of fear during upbringing. Ugh.
Yeah, this is the stuff that I was talking about with our conversation earlier about Bernard. This is the stuff that I was talking about. Like, I think like Bernard's a smart man. He understands all of this, and he internalizes all of this and uses all of this. So I think he definitely thinks for himself. He thinks critically about how to apply these teachings. And like, so he has to think.
Sure.
But I think the difference is, like you were saying, like he doesn't question it, right?
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, I think that's the big difference.
And then thinks about how to use it versus questioning whether or not he should.
Right. Yeah. That's a great way to look at it. Yeah, that's a good way to phrase it. So yeah, creepy. I mean, this book sounds terrifying. And Lucas is curious as to how it all began, and I am as well.
Yeah, like why wouldn't you be, right?
Right. And Bernard is just kind of shoving it off.
Yeah, he's like, I'm sorry, what?
Yeah. And he's like, they must have known it was coming, right? Yeah. To get at least 50 silos built. And he said it took decades to build them. What the fuck?
Yeah. So like,
yeah, he says that the information is there.
Build these things, like, what is it outside that's killing them that wasn't killing them when they were building it?
Disease doesn't seem likely. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, and disease doesn't really make any sense either, because like it wouldn't be sticking around outside for hundreds of years and killing you when you go out. It wouldn't be eating through your suit.
Yeah, true. Yeah, I don't know.
I mean, I do know, but yeah, I can't say.
Maybe we just pushed global warming too far, and it made Earth unlivable.
Yeah, I could see that. Like if it was global warming, knowing
they'd
like,
have time.
Hey, we've hit this point where the world's about to die and there's nothing we can do about it, and we have decades to build these silos as a place to live.
Yeah. So he says that the information is there but not in the books, and I don't know what that means.
Oh, well, probably. Wait, what? He says not in the books?
He says the information is stored here but not in any of the books.
Oh, maybe it's in the servers then.
That's my assumption, but it's such an ominous way to put that down. Yeah.
Like, why wouldn't you put it in the books?
Yeah. So Lucas asks, what happened? How did we get here? Why is this the way it is? And he's like, it doesn't matter. Who cares? This is the stuff we can affect. And he's pointing at the book like, this is what matters.
Yeah.
Learn this. And so I assume once he learns that, then he'll of course divulge more. But the last line in this chapter is, "I think you're almost ready," he said. "Soon." Bernard turned back to his computer, his hand falling to his mouse. "Very soon."
Yeah.
Fucking ready for what?
Well, I don't know, to learn more. I don't know, to be the head of IT. I'm not really sure.
There's so many possibilities to the end of that thought.
Before we get to the end, though, I also really enjoyed how Lucas started kind of parroting the things that Jules was saying to him. Like when he says, all our hope, the accomplishments of those before us, what the world can be like, that's our legacy.
Right.
And like, Bernard waving him on, and all the bad things that can't be stopped, the mistakes that got us here, that's the past. And I really enjoyed how when Bernard like eggs him on and is like, okay, and so what's that mean?
Go on.
How he's like, this is a roadmap for how to get through all the bad. This is the stuff we can prevent that we can fix. I really liked that we can fix, because that is what got Bernard to raise his eyebrow. And I really like the as if it were a new way of looking at an old truth, because I love those moments just in general in life and fiction and whatever, of like when you see something a certain way and then a perspective shifts things and you look at the exact same thing completely differently. And I think it's interesting that Bernard was like, kind of like, I don't think it would ever change Bernard's mind. Yeah. But I think it's interesting to know that Lucas is like, okay, so here's a roadmap, but it's also a roadmap of telling us like, we can fix this. Like, here's how it's broken. We can use that to figure out how to repair it. And I really like that. I think that, of anything, that is what tells us Lucas is on the right side. Like, he might still be 100%. Struggling with his like external things, but in his heart, on the inside, he's on the right side. And it's just a matter of him getting there. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm loving Lucas. I'm little disappointed with his hesitancy. I get it, but
he's also young. He's like what, 26? Something like 20, that.
20.
He's 20 something.
25.
Sure. Yeah.
25, because you thought 11 from 36.
Yeah, and then she's really 34, so it's 9. Yeah.
But anyway, for the next episode, folks, we will be reading up to chapter 74. So stop when you get to chapter 74, and we'll chat about that. And I'm so looking forward to seeing what's going on here. There's so much here. Yeah.
I mean, no real spoilers, but the next section starts with the line, "The descent into mechanical." I'm so like, we get to know what's going to happen with Jules going down. I'm excited to see what happens with that.
I'm looking forward to it.
Is her suit going to handle the water and the pressure? Is she going to drop her tools and fuck up? What's going to happen?
She's got them tied to herself. We're good there.
Yeah. So she's not going to lose her tools. We know that much.
Yeah, we know that. Maybe her safety knife.
Yeah. Oh, we didn't know if is the safety knife tied to her? I don't know. If everything else is, think so. Probably, right? No?
Probably.
Maybe not.
But it didn't specifically say, so I'm not making assumptions.
Hopefully she doesn't lose her safety knife.
Here's who's hoping.
Yeah.
But yeah, folks, we will see you in the next episode. Read up to chapter 74, and we'll discuss then. It's been great. Thank you so much for spending your time with us between the covers of today's story. If you'd like to help keep Shelf Indulgence alive and growing, you'll find our Patreon link in the description. Your support helps write the next chapter. A rating or review wherever you listen also helps other readers discover us and means more to me than you know. Most of all, thank you so much for being a part of this journey. I truly hope you'll keep turning the pages with us. Book by book, story by story. We'll see you next time.